The dawn of a new day in the corporate world often carries with it an invisible weight, a silent pressure that settles on the shoulders of those who occupy the highest seats of responsibility. In the quiet moments before the first emails land or the first meetings begin, there is a profound realization that leadership is rarely the glamorous spectacle it appears to be from the outside. While many view the role of a leader as one of prestige, influence, and perhaps even adoration, the reality is far more stark and demanding. It is a path paved with difficult choices, where the pursuit of excellence often collides with the natural human desire to be liked, accepted, and popular among one's peers. In the grand landscape of professional life, particularly within the bustling environments found across the American continent and beyond, the image of the charismatic leader is frequently romanticized. One imagines a figure who inspires through charm alone, moving through corridors surrounded by smiling faces and a chorus of agreement. However, as the sun rises over the glass and steel structures of the modern world, a different truth emerges. True leadership is not a stage for a beauty pageant. It is not a contest to see who can garner the most votes of approval at the water cooler. Instead, it is a demanding discipline that requires a person to step into the uncomfortable spaces where popularity fades and duty begins. There is a common misconception that to lead is to be the most liked person in the room. This belief is a seductive trap, one that can paralyze even the most well-meaning individual. The desire for social validation is deeply ingrained in the human psyche. Yet for those tasked with guiding a team, an organization, or even a family, this instinct can become a significant hurdle. When the primary objective becomes the preservation of one's own popularity, the clarity of vision begins to blur. Decisions are delayed, truths are softened until they lose their meaning, and the overall health of the collective is sacrificed at the altar of personal comfort. Every successful leader eventually reaches a crossroads where they must decide whether they are there to be a friend or a guide, a companion or a commander. To choose the latter is to accept a certain level of isolation. It is to understand that the respect earned through integrity and firmness is far more valuable and far more durable than the fleeting warmth of being everyone's favorite colleague. The atmosphere of a high-stakes environment, whether in a sprawling multinational in Europe or a growing enterprise in Latin America, demands something more substantial than a smile. It demands the courage to stand by a decision that may be met with silence or even resentment. As the day begins, the leader looks at the schedule ahead and sees not just a list of tasks, but a series of potential conflicts. There are messages that must be delivered, words that will undoubtedly sting, and expectations that must be reset. The air in the office feels charged with the anticipation of what is to come. People look for signs of favor or disapproval, and in this intricate dance of social dynamics, the leader must remain the anchor. They must prepare themselves for the reality that today, they might be the person who brings disappointment. And yet it is precisely in this willingness to be the bearer of hard truths that their true value is revealed. This journey into the heart of leadership begins with a fundamental shift in perspective. It starts by stripping away the ego's need for applause and replacing it with a commitment to the truth. It is an exploration of the moments that define a career, not the moments of triumph celebrated with champagne, but the quiet, difficult conversations that happen behind closed doors. The path ahead is not easy, and it is certainly not designed to make one popular. But for those who seek to truly make an impact, it is the only path worth taking. The question that remains, hanging in the air like a challenge, is whether one is ready to trade the comfort of being liked for the honor of being a leader who truly matters. In the complex machinery of any organization, the friction of human interaction is inevitable. Whether in a high-tech hub in North America or a traditional firm in Europe, the leader stands at the center of this friction, often acting as the arbiter of reality. The central conflict of the role lies in the dual nature of communication. On one hand, there is the joyous task of sharing success, announcing bonuses, and celebrating milestones. These are the moments that build social capital and reinforce the leader's popularity. On the other hand, there is the far more frequent and far more difficult task of delivering news that no one wants to hear. Imagine the scene. A dedicated team member has spent months pouring their heart into a project, hoping for a promotion that they believe is their due. They walk into the office with a spring in their step, expecting a reward for their labor. The leader, however, knows the broader picture. They know that, despite the effort, the results didn't meet the necessary threshold. Or perhaps there is another candidate whose skills are more aligned with the future of the company. In this moment, the leader faces a choice. Do they sugarcoat the feedback to avoid hurting feelings, or do they speak the plain, uncomfortable truth? This is the crucible of leadership. The internal struggle is not just about the message itself, but about the leader's own identity. No one enjoys being the villain in someone else's story. No one wants to be the person who extinguishes the spark of excitement in a colleague's eyes. The temptation to postpone the conversation, to wait for a better time that never comes, is immense. Yet the cost of this delay is a slow-growing rot of false expectations. When a leader prioritizes their own comfort over the clarity of their subordinates, they are essentially trading the team's long-term success for a temporary moment of peace. Consider the various scenarios that haunt the daily life of a manager or supervisor. It might be informing a group that the project they were eager to lead has been handed to a different department. It might be telling a longtime associate that their recommendation for a new hire was not accepted because the candidate failed to impress during the final interview. Or perhaps it is the uncomfortable necessity of expressing frustration over a persistent lack of progress. Each of these interactions is a potential blow to the leader's popularity rating. Each one carries the risk of a cold shoulder, a whispered complaint, or a tense atmosphere in the next meeting. In the home region, as in any other part of the world, the emotional weight of these decisions is real. A leader might have to deny a vacation request because the team is already understaffed, knowing full well that the employee has been looking forward to the break for months. They might have to issue an ultimatum to a talented but toxic individual who continues to undermine the company's vision. These are not just professional tasks. They are emotional labor. They require a certain level of psychological fortitude to withstand the disappointment and occasional anger of others. The philosophical tension here is between the short-term harmony of the group and the long-term integrity of the mission. A leader who seeks to be everyone's friend often finds that they have no real authority when it is most needed. By avoiding conflict, they allow mediocrity to seep into the culture. They create an environment where nice is valued more than effective, and where the truth is seen as a threat rather than a tool for growth. This section of the journey highlights the essential loneliness of leadership, the understanding that to be the one who points the way, one must sometimes be willing to stand alone against the current of popular opinion. As the narrative develops, it becomes clear that the struggle is not against the people themselves, but against the human tendency to prefer comfortable lies over uncomfortable truths. The leader's job is to be the guardian of reality, ensuring that everyone knows exactly where they stand, even if that knowledge is painful. This sets the stage for a deeper exploration of how these messages are delivered and why the timing of such news is perhaps the most critical factor in a leader's success. The tension builds as the leader prepares to step out of the shadows of hesitation and into the light of direct, honest communication. The depth of leadership is often measured in the quiet aftermath of a difficult conversation. It is easy to be a leader when the winds are at your back, but the true test of character occurs when you must navigate through a storm of negative reactions. Successful leaders understand that the way they handle bad news is far more indicative of their capability than how they celebrate good news. There is a refined art to delivering a blow in a way that maintains professionalism while acknowledging the human element involved. In the bustling environments of modern commerce, from the financial districts of England to the creative studios in the American continent, communication is the lifeblood of progress. When a leader fails to communicate difficult messages promptly, they create a vacuum. This vacuum is quickly filled with rumors, anxiety, and a sense of betrayal. The narrative shifts from the facts of the situation to the leader's perceived cowardice or lack of transparency. Therefore, the most effective leaders have a rule: messages of difficulty must be delivered without delay. To wait is to deceive. To hesitate is to allow false hopes to take root, making the eventual revelation even more devastating. Imagine a leader who notices a decline in a team member's performance. Instead of addressing it immediately, they hope the situation will improve on its own. They continue to be friendly, perhaps even overly complimentary, to avoid a confrontation. Meanwhile, the employee believes they are doing a great job. When the time for a performance review finally comes, the shock of a negative rating is compounded by a sense of betrayal. The employee feels that for months they were misled. This is the ultimate failure of a popular leader. By trying to be liked, they have destroyed the very trust they sought to preserve. Contrast this with the leader who adopts a posture of radical clarity. When news arrives that a project has been canceled or a promotion has been denied, they don't hide in their office. They don't delegate the task to a subordinate or send a cold, impersonal email. Instead, they seek a face-to-face encounter, even if it has to be through a video screen across the miles. They understand that the medium is part of the message.
By being physically or virtually present, they signal respect for the other person's emotions and contributions. They provide a space for the reaction to occur, acknowledging that the other person may be shocked, confused, or even furious. This approach requires a sophisticated level of emotional intelligence. The leader must be able to hold the space for another person's pain without being consumed by it. They must express empathy, saying that it is entirely understandable for the person to feel hurt or frustrated. Yet, they must also remain firm in the decision itself. There is a delicate balance between being empathetic and being a pushover. If a leader allows themselves to be swayed by the emotional reaction of an employee, they lose their credibility. They become seen as someone who can be manipulated through guilt or anger. Throughout the professional landscape in Europe and beyond, we see the consequences of leaders who lack this resolve. They are the ones who make promises they cannot keep, who avoid eye contact in the hallway after a layoff, and who try to be everyone's best friend while the organization crumbles around them. Their popularity is a thin veneer, easily shattered by the first sign of real trouble. In contrast, the leader who is willing to be the bringer of bad news builds a foundation of respect that can survive even the toughest times. People may not always like what they have to say, but they know they can count on them for the truth. This brings us to the realization that leadership is as much about managing perceptions as it is about managing people. It is about creating a culture where truth is the primary currency. When a leader is consistent in their honesty, the team develops a form of resilience. They learn that they can handle difficult news because it is delivered with dignity and directness. They stop looking for hidden meanings or waiting for the other shoe to drop. The narrative of the organization becomes one of transparency, where the energy that was once spent on navigating office politics is now redirected towards solving problems and achieving goals. This evolution of the leader's role is what transforms a group of individuals into a cohesive, high-performing unit, ready to face whatever challenges the world may throw at them.
The turning point in any leader's journey often arrives during a moment of high tension, where the need for a final, irrevocable decision overrides any desire for harmony. This is the climax of the narrative, the moment where the popularity contest ends and the test of leadership begins in earnest. In many professional settings, particularly those in competitive markets like North America or dynamic regions in Latin America, this moment often involves an ultimatum, a line in the sand that defines the future of the organization and the individuals within it. Consider the situation where a leader has developed a new strategic vision for the company. It is a bold move, necessary for survival in a changing world, but it requires a fundamental shift in how people work. Most of the team is on board, but there is one influential member who refuses to align. This person openly criticizes the plan, sows seeds of doubt among the staff, and continues to operate as if the old rules still apply. The leader has tried coaching, they have tried explaining, and they have tried to win this person over with logic and kindness, but the resistance persists. The climax occurs when the leader realizes that their commitment to the team's success is more important than their relationship with this one individual. They must deliver an ultimatum: either accept the new vision and work toward it with full commitment, or leave the organization. This is a dramatic and often painful realization. It is the moment where the leader accepts that they cannot take everyone with them to the finish line. Some people will choose to walk away, and others will have to be asked to leave. In this high-stakes environment, the leader's communication must be surgical. There is no room for ambiguity. They must state the facts clearly. This is the path we are taking. This is why it is necessary. Your current actions are not aligned with this path. You have a choice to make. The weight of this moment is immense. It is the ultimate rejection of the popularity contest. The leader knows that by taking this stand, they will be seen by some as cold or even cruel. They will be the subject of hushed conversations in the break room. But they also know that if they do not act, the entire mission is at risk. This revelation, that the truth, however harsh, is more compassionate than a comfortable lie, is what separates the great from the mediocre. A leader who avoids this climax allows the toxicity to spread, eventually poisoning the entire culture. By facing the conflict head-on, the leader protects the rest of the team. They demonstrate that the values of the organization are not just words on a wall, but principles that are worth defending. The atmosphere in the office changes. The tension that was simmering beneath the surface is brought into the open and resolved. There is a profound sense of clarity that follows such a turning point. The leader feels a shift within themselves, a hardening of their resolve and a sharpening of their focus. They have faced the worst-case scenario of being unpopular,
and realize that they are still standing. More importantly, they have seen that the people who remain are more focused, more aligned, and more energized than ever before. The fear of being the bad guy is replaced by the quiet confidence of someone who has done what was necessary. As the dust settles, the leader understands that their role is not to be the most liked, but to be the most trusted. Trust is not built on being nice. It is built on being predictable, fair, and honest. Even the person who was given the ultimatum, though they may be angry in the moment, is given the gift of clarity. They know exactly where they stand and what their options are. In the grander scheme of things, this directness is a form of respect. It treats the other person as an adult capable of making their own decisions. This moment of transition, from seeking approval to providing clarity, is the true beginning of a leader's mastery over their environment and themselves.
In the aftermath of a major organizational shift or a difficult interpersonal confrontation, a new landscape begins to emerge. The silence that follows the storm is not one of emptiness, but of reflection and rebuilding. For the leader, this is a period of internal and external transformation. Having discarded the heavy cloak of the popularity contest, they find themselves lighter, more agile, and surprisingly more connected to their team than they were when they were trying to please everyone. In the home region, the ripple effects of a leader's decisive action can be felt in the way the team communicates. There is a newfound efficiency. When people know that the leader will speak the truth, they stop wasting time trying to read between the lines. The culture shifts from one of speculation to one of execution. The leader observes this change with a sense of quiet satisfaction. They see that by being firm, they have created a safer environment, not safe from challenges, but safe from the anxiety of the unknown. However, the resolution is not without its emotional costs. Even the most seasoned leader, whether operating in the American continent or in Europe, must deal with the personal fallout of being the one who delivered the bad news. There is a natural human tendency to feel a pang of sadness when a colleague is hurt or when a working relationship is severed. The key to successful resolution lies in the ability to remain unshakable without becoming unfeeling. The leader must process their own emotions, perhaps in private or with a trusted mentor, ensuring that they don't carry the weight of guilt into their future decisions. They learn to demonstrate empathy without compromising the outcome. In the days following a difficult announcement, they might check in on those affected, not to apologize for the decision, but to offer support in navigating the transition. They give people time to process their shock, anger, or sadness. They understand that a negative reaction is a human response to change, and they don't take it personally. This emotional maturity is what allows the organization to heal. By acknowledging the pain without retreating from the truth, the leader models the very resilience they expect from their team. One of the most significant insights that emerges during this phase is the realization that leadership is a service, not a status. To lead is to serve the mission and the collective good, even when it requires personal sacrifice. The sacrifice in this case was the comfort of being liked, but the reward is far greater, the creation of a high-trust, high-performance culture. The leader sees that those who were initially upset often come around to respect the directness they were shown. They might even come to prefer the hard truth over the soft ambiguity they had experienced under previous, less courageous leadership. As the narrative moves towards its conclusion, we see the leader planning their future communications with a new level of intentionality. They no longer dread the bad news. They see it as a necessary part of the growth process. They spend time preparing their messages, ensuring they are clear, direct, and delivered in person whenever possible. They seek feedback from trusted peers on their communication style, always looking for ways to be more effective without being aggressive. They have become a person who can hold the tension of a room and guide it toward a productive resolution. This period of resolution also brings a sense of personal peace. The leader no longer feels the need to perform for the crowd. They are no longer constantly checking the metaphorical popularity meter of the office. Instead, they look at the results, the progress of projects, the growth of their team members, and the clarity of the company's direction. These are the true metrics of success. The aftermath of the conflict has not left them isolated. It has left them surrounded by a team that knows exactly who they are and what they stand for. It is a foundation built on the bedrock of reality, and it is far more stable than any popularity could ever be. As we reach the final stage of this journey into the heart of leadership, it is time to reflect on the deeper philosophical meaning of what it truly means to lead. The path we have followed has taken us from the seductive trap of the popularity contest to the challenging, yet rewarding, terrain of radical honesty. We have seen that the most successful leaders are not those who are universally loved, but those who are consistently respected. In the professional world, whether in the vibrant cities of Latin America or the established centers of Europe, respect is the only currency that retains its value over the long term. Leadership at its core is an act of courage. It is the courage to be the person who speaks the truth when others are silent. It is the courage to prioritize the health of the organization over one's own social standing. And most importantly, it is the courage to be misunderstood for a time, knowing that the ultimate results will speak for themselves. The realization that one is not in a beauty pageant or a popularity contest is not a cynical one. It is an empowering one. It frees the leader from the exhausting task of managing everyone's opinion and allows them to focus on the work that truly matters. In the final analysis, the way a leader handles the difficult parts of their job defines their legacy. People may forget the specific details of a successful project, but they will never forget how a leader treated them during a crisis or how they delivered a difficult message. A leader who speaks with clarity, acts with integrity, and remains unshakable in the face of emotional storms leaves a lasting impact. They create a blueprint for others to follow, showing that it is possible to be both firm and fair, both direct and empathetic. This approach to leadership also fosters a profound sense of psychological safety within a team. While it might seem counterintuitive, knowing that a leader will tell you the truth, even when it's unpleasant, is much more reassuring than wondering if they are hiding something to spare your feelings. When the truth is always on the table, fear is diminished. People feel empowered to take risks, to admit their own mistakes, and to grow. The leader's refusal to participate in the popularity contest becomes the catalyst for the team's collective maturity. Looking back at the journey, we see that the most difficult moments were actually the most productive. The missed promotions, the canceled projects, the tough feedback sessions. These were the moments where real growth occurred. For the leader, these were the moments where their character was forged. For the team, these were the moments where their resilience was tested. The conclusion we must draw is that conflict and disappointment are not failures of leadership. They are the raw materials of progress. A leader who avoids them is a leader who avoids success. As the sun sets on this exploration, we are left with a clear vision of what leadership demands. It demands a person who is willing to step out of the crowd and take a stand. It demands someone who values the mission more than the applause. In the home region and across the globe, the need for such leaders has never been greater. The world is full of people who want to be liked, but it is starving for people who are willing to lead. The invitation is now open to anyone who is ready to put aside the contest for popularity and pick up the mantle of true responsibility. In the end, the true reward of leadership is not found in the number of friends one makes, but in the number of people one helps to become their best selves. By being the guardian of truth, the leader provides the necessary structure for others to thrive. This is the ultimate service, the ultimate act of care. It is a quiet, often thankless task, but it is the one that builds the future. Let the memory of this journey serve as a reminder that when the pressure to be popularity rises, the most powerful response is to simply be a leader. For in that choice lies the power to change not just an organization, but the lives of everyone within it.